So hi everyone, the first of hopefully a series of videos about the RK008 because there's a lot to tell about this little machine and I doubt I can get it into one video and still be coherent. So if you want to be updated on other videos we post in this, then I don't know, like, subscribe, you probably know how this works in YouTube. Let's start. What is the RK008? It's a real-time multi-track MIDI recorder, and you can compare it to a multi-track audio recording, but then not for an audio signal but for a MIDI signal. MIDI is quite a big ecosystem. I bet that when you look at this video you know the advantages and disadvantages of MIDI. I'll just I'll show you how to connect devices here and just general connections on the RK8 for powering and battery. We have two versions. This is the 80s tech version, which is like aluminium top and black sides. It's a bit sleeker than the 70s version, which has wood side panels and a more, classic look. In the bottom of the RK8 you can see a switch and a battery compartment, and on the side there is a USB-C connector, and on the back there is a sync port, 2 MIDI output and 2 MIDI inputs. About the battery, we don't ship the RK8 with a battery, but you can use a Nokia battery on it. So because these are quite good available on eBay and Amazon, and it's actually a pretty sleek small battery with a lot of power in it. So this phone here has a 4C type battery, and I'm showing you this because there are two types the RK8 can handle, the 4C and the 5C. The 5C is a bit larger and generally has more power than the 4C, so it will last longer in an RK8. If you have one of these, no problem, it will run. If you need to buy a new one, then I suggest you get the 5C because it will last a bit longer. So, and you can put it in here like this, terminals there, close the lid. You can activate the battery by setting the switch to 1, and now it will turn on. You can put the RK8 back to sleep by pressing stop for a long time, like this, and you can wake it up again by pressing any key. In this mode, when it's like in sleep mode, you can connect a USB power cable to it, and you can recharge the battery with the USB port. If you want to travel with it and don't want to accidentally turn on the RK8, you just set the switch to 0 and nothing will happen. Okay, so that's that. And what else is in the box? I'll show you here. We have two TRS-A to DIN5 cables. TRS-A is the new standard for MIDI for small devices, and USB-C to USB-A cable. You can use that for power, but also for data exchange on a RK8 and a PC. Furthermore, there's a little manual in here. It's just enough to get you started. For more info on what the RK8 can do, there's a manual online with a bit more pages. And well, we're still adding features to it, so more will come to describe in the manual. Okay, so far the connections and power and stuff. And now there are these terminals on the back which say sync, MIDI out, MIDI in. Basically there are two MIDI in ports. These are merging, so you can use both at the same time. For example, a keyboard and a controller. The MIDI outputs are assignable, so each track you record something on, you can set it to send out to MIDI on, MIDI 1 or MIDI 2. And you can also, if you have the RK6 connected, you can have a separate output via the USB, and have 10 more outputs and 2 more inputs on it. The sync port is a sync input and a sync output. You can generate even DIN sync signals by combining output 2 and the sync port, but you can also slave the RK8 to an old drum computer with a click track, which you can make with an accent track, for example. Okay, so that's about the basics on connecting the RK8. So now probably we have to put this stuff into practice, and I'll show you that in the next video.